Alright guys, welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another video on one of the few Super Dragon Ball Heroes units showcases I have left. I know they're a little bit late at this point, but I've done so many and I only have a couple left that I'm gonna finish them. I'm gonna finish off the videos I intended to make. There would be more, but I did kind of miss out because I was so busy. I missed out on finishing the free-to-play easy areas. So that's kind of like a win and a lose. It means I lose out on content, however, there does mean that I have less to do. So you have to see the silver lining. But we are going to finish them. We do have the Supreme Kai of Time Brainwashed, who was another unit I managed to rainbow out from going back in on the banner, so do let me know what you think further down in the comments. And don't forget to drop a like and subscribe if you're new as well. And the first rotation we have a set up on, we do have a few of our links active in terms of Master of Magic, Demonic Power, Battlefield Diva, Shatting the Limit, and we do have Toa's incredible support with her as well. So in terms of what she's sitting on pre-super, 241k attack stat, 114k defense. Now considering that's with Toa's support, in terms of if she didn't have support, I mean, those numbers are looking relatively okay. With the support, they're looking good, but without the support, it would probably just look okay, if I'm being completely honest. 5.1 mil on super, though. I really do like the effect of her super attack. Like, I really do like it a lot. And from what I've seen from her kit already, from just glossing over, she does look like she would be a very, very good Super Battle Road unit. So maybe I'm going to have to test her out in there. But after picking up her Dokkan Awakening, she's now a crossover lead, giving Ki +3, HP and attack and defense +150. On super, she does massively raise defense 1 turn, so that's by 100%, which is very nice. But considering where these Super Dragon Ball Heroes units kind of level are, where they sit in terms of their abilities, yes, that's very good. But that's not the same as if, like, you know, the most current Dokkan Fest would massively raise his defense 1 turn, if that makes sense. So while it is very good and it does help her out quite a lot defensively, it wouldn't be the same as if, you know, I don't know, the new Dokkan Fest Yamcha that just dropped on JP. It wouldn't be the same as if he massively raised defense on super with all the defense that he would have, or like, for example, Strength Rose if he did it after his EZA. You know, it's not the same, but it's still very good. But we do have some extra links active with... Actually, no. Do we have some extra links active? I think we will have Telekinesis active once we super attack. But, she also does link very well with Poutine, which is another one, again, who fell under the Extreme Z area event, which, again, I kind of missed out on. She literally she would have been done, but I literally just didn't finish out getting the rainbow medals. So she would have been like, she's pretty much 3/4 of the way easy-aid, which really irks me a lot, but her easy aid is very good as well, so you could easily run her with like Supreme Kai of Time Brainwashed, also the Supreme Kai of Time who just got an easy A, this Toa. Some very good options, all link very well together, but unfortunately, yeah, she literally, all I needed was the rainbow medals and she was done. And yeah, I was so busy I missed out on that, which is just so annoying. But that is another good viable partner you could actually run with the Supreme Kai of Time Brainwashed, up to a 5.7 million attack stat right now. One thing that is nice about Supreme Kai of Time Brainwashed being rainbowed is, go full-blown additional on her, man. You go full-blown additional, you have that potential of massively raising your defense twice. That's raising her defense by 100% twice in 1 turn, which means her defense after supering is in a very, very good spot. Very, very good spot. So if I do take her in the likes of Super Battle Road, I'm really hoping we can get lucky and fortunate when it comes to getting the dupe system additionals. Because when it comes to the rest of the units I have dupes in, for some reason Dokkan never likes to give me the stuff I'm asking for. But after massively raising her defense by 100% on super, she does cause supreme damage to the enemy, greatly lowers attack and defense, again, would be very handy for Super Battle Road. In her passive, she also has the rare chance of stunning all enemies. While it's only a rare chance, which if I remember rightly is only a 10 or 15% chance, I think it's 15, but a 10 or 15% chance to stun all enemies. While it is only a rare chance, that is still a chance of stunning all enemies, which again, for a Super Battle Road unit where you're facing multiple enemies at once, stunning all of them yeah, stunning all of them is honestly ridiculously good. So obviously that means everyone's stunned, you avoid taking any damage, you can save an item that turn, you can save an usher. It's such a good ability to have, but again, it's only a rare chance. But considering how good that effect is, it only makes sense why it's a rare chance. We do also have Godly Power now active because of Demigrat. So we're gonna get an extra bit of attack. We are up to 257k attack stat pre-super, 124k defense pre-super. So yeah, her defense generally is going to be in a very good spot once she supers. I mean, you're talking what, probably over 300k defense, 400k, and then if she hits an additional again because she's rainbowed, because there's the ability or the possibility of hitting an additional, that means their defense is probably what, 700k, which is actually kind of ridiculous. Like, that's red zone worthy. But obviously you would need to depend on her getting an additional, and you would have to depend on her having dupes. 5.4 million attack stat, that's with Godly Power. Then we can't have Godly Power and the support. I mean, actually, we probably could, but that's probably with the Supreme Kai of Time, who I'm yet to do a video on. But, you know, with that type of defense, post-super, that is literally red zone worthy, but unfortunately, because you have to depend on having dupes in her, and also then if you do have dupes in her, depending on those dupes actually popping off, and you hitting that additional super more often than not, obviously that just isn't viable for the likes of red zone. But I mean, if she had a built-in additional, damn, she would actually be red zone worthy, easily, 100%. But yeah, that rare chance of stunning all enemies, a great ability to have in Super Battle Road. She gets key +2 in attack and defense plus 100% at the start of turn, and she gets an additional attack and defense plus 100% when performing a super attack. Yeah, her defense is going to be in such a good spot after she supers, like it's generally ridiculous. And this is without guard or damage reduction, anything like that. So yeah, that means her defense is actually more than what I thought it was, and that's why her super attack jumps up to like 4.9, run about 5 million. When she supers from what she starts with. So that makes a lot of sense. But yeah, her defense when she supers, even just the once, you're talking 400 to 500k, I think. I mean, I don't know the exact maths, but that's just an estimation. That's probably roughly where it's going to be, give or take. But 400 to 500k on her defense is generally ridiculous. That actually tanks quite a lot of red zone bosses' basic attacks. And if she was to get an additional super, that means her defense is probably like more around the lines of 700 to 800k, which means she's tanking every red zone boss's basic for nothing, for double digits, and a couple of the red zone bosses, if not a couple of their phases, very well as well. Only the best or the hardest hitting red zone bosses are really doing like that much damage against her. And again, considering she doesn't have guard or damage reduction, that's incredibly impressive, and I really would love to test her in red zone, but being dependent on her getting an additional super for her to survive in some cases when it's not built in and it's based off of, you know, dupe system additionals, and not everyone's going to have a dupe in her. Yes, it's more likely the normal units and Dokkan Fest units because all the heroes units are featured, but because it's not likely that everyone's going to be able to pull dupes of this one specific unit, it's just not realistic, but the possibility is there. So I'm very tempted to take her into red zone and see what she can do. Even if we don't beat the run, even if we die, I'm still very tempted to take her into red zone just because the possibility is there. And it sounds like a whole bunch of fun to do. So at some point I actually may do that, I'm not going to lie. Because her defense is looking seriously impressive. Could you imagine if she had big bad bosses as well? I mean, I don't watch Heroes, and I don't really know too much of what happens. I literally know that, actually, to be more honest, I know next to nothing that pretty much goes on in Heroes, but could you imagine if a unit like this had big bad bosses? She actually would generally be insane. Like, insane. Her crit damage is actually great. Like, I'm just watching her do the amount she does on crits is great. She also gets an additional attack plus 100% when a target enemy is in attack down status, which, again, she's a very good Super Battle Road unit. That's an event where at all times, no matter the stage, you can lower attack, you can lower defense. Not only that, she does that herself, and she lowers both attack and defense by 50% on her super. And then, of course, you have the units surrounding her that can do that as well. So she'll get extra attack plus 100% when she has that. Of course, we can't do that here, especially anymore. She also gets an additional attack plus 100% when the target enemy is in defense down status. This is why an additional would be great with her in Super Battle Road, because you super once, you greatly lower attack and defense, you lower both of them, which means if you have dupes and you hit an additional, not only are you massively raising her defense again, which means defensively in Super Battle Road, she's pretty much going to tank almost every single enemy in red zone for double digits and next to nothing on supers currently at this point. But then if she gets an additional super again, she's probably going to be putting out in the regions of like what, maybe even 6 mil on a super, because she greatly lowers attack and defense. So she's getting both sets of 100% attack and defense for not attack and defense. She's getting both sets of attack plus 100% for having the target enemy in attack or defense down status. So it's almost like she's self-preserving herself, like she's supporting herself, which is dope. But that's if you have dupes though. But again, the possibility is there. The possibility is there. She also gets an additional attack plus 100% when the target enemy super attack is sealed. Can you imagine, like, again, it's not overly likely, but could you imagine if you managed to do all three? Could you imagine if you done, you know, not enough damage to not kill the enemy, but then lowered the enemy's attack and defense and also sealed the same enemy? So imagine you super attack someone in, like, super attacked a unit, sealed them. You then super attacked a unit of Supreme Kai of Time Brainwashed, greatly lowered their attack and defense, which means she's getting all three of her attack plus 100%. It's so unlikely to happen. Like, so unlikely to happen. Actually, not too unlikely, because the other unit could also lower attack and defense. But, you know, it's not that easy to set up as it sounds. But can you imagine if it did? Because then she's massively raising her defense twice because of the additional, which means she's tanking pretty much everything in Super Battle Road for probably next to nothing, while also dealing some pretty good damage, while that one enemy is basically being bullied and having their attack and defense lowered non-stop and also being sealed. I mean, it's possible. It's quite difficult to set up that perfectly, but it's possible. And that sounds a lot of fun to do. She also gets an additional attack plus 100% when the target enemy is stunned, which of course she has a rare chance of doing herself. If she could do that on super as well, that'd be great, but however she can't. But again, having that even 10-15% chance to stun all enemies just at the beginning of the turn like that in Super Battle Road is a great ability to have, even if it isn't coming off that often because of how good it is. But can you imagine if you got all four of her attack plus 100%? She generally would probably be in the region of like 7 million, maybe 8 million at Rainbow attack stat, give or take. Which, considering how good she would be defensively, especially with dupes, if she hits an additional super, that's very impressive. It's just to set all this up, it just takes some doing and a lot of luck to have all these things happen. Which is the stun, the seal, the lower attack and defense. Because you have to have this happen. All four of those things, you have to happen on one enemy, and the enemy has to still be alive, has to have enough HP that they don't die. Which isn't too likely with the type of numbers that units be doing nowadays. I mean, again, it's doable, it's possible. It's just very unlikely to set it up that perfectly, because the enemy has to survive and then be stunned, sealed, have their attack and defense lowered by the time Supreme Kai of Time Brainwash actually supers them. Or by the time she supers, you can have the target enemy sealed or stunned, or you'd have to rely on the Supreme Kai of Time Brainwash doing 3 of those 4 things, which is having that rare chance of stunning happen, which again is like 10-15%. It's not going to be happening too often. And then greatly lowering the enemy's attack and defense from her super. And then you would have to have dupes and have her additional super, which again is quite unlikely, but again, it's doable. And I kind of want to try it. But the potential for her is there. If you can get all of those things to happen, the potential of how good her damage output is, especially with dupes where she can also crit, which she has been doing in this video right now, and she's been doing good damage. The potential is there. The damage output of her potential, the potential of her damage output, sorry, is there. It could be very good, while again massively raising her defense by 100%. And her defense is in a very good spot again, especially if she hits an additional super as well. And then not only that as well, She steals the attacked enemy super attack for 2 turns and has a medium chance of stunning all enemies when there is a crossover category attacking the same turn. Okay, so getting all the extra attack plus 100% is actually a lot easier than I thought. And we've actually just gone and beat the event by accident, but that's fine, that's fine. So, okay, getting all the 100% attacks is actually very easy. Because if you just run her with a crossover category, which you're going to be doing anyway, especially with a Link set. You know, you're running her with Poutine, maybe Toa, Supreme Kai of Time. You've got options with her. She will seal the attacked enemy's super attack for 2 turns and have a 30% chance of stunning all enemies, along with having that 10-15% chance of stunning all enemies at the beginning of the turn anyway. So yeah, getting that extra 100% is actually a lot easier than I thought. But with that type of passive, with that type of kit, especially with dupes, she is a very, very good Super Battle Road unit. And actually somewhat viable for Red Zone. Yes, you wouldn't be able to get a damage potential to where it can be in Super Battle Road, but defensively she's viable. But you would be very dependent on having dupes on her, and her getting the additional super off to massive raise her defense twice, which isn't really feasible and isn't really realistic, but it's possible and it's doable, and I kind of want to try it. But she is a very, very good Super Battle Road unit. So any categories that come out in the future you can squeeze her onto, definitely bring her if you could link her up quite well with other crossover units. But yeah, the potential is there for her in Super Battle Road. If you can get all those things ticked off to get all the additional attack plus 100%, the potential's there. But this is a very, very good awakening. And she seems like a lot of fun to use. But let me know what you think down in the comments. I'll see you in the next video, guys. And peace!